Thank you, shareholders, for your observations and constructive comments. Let me now respond to your comments as well as make a few observations on the future prospects of the company. At the outset, I want to thank each and every one of you personally for your very gracious vote of confidence in the induction of Anil Ambani as Executive Director of Reliance Capital. I hope Anmol will receive your support and blessing along with my fathers and my mothers. Anmol has been a beneficiary of an extremely loving and value-based upbringing by his mother, Tina. Over 50% or more than 500 million people of India are under the age of 30. And the average age of the over 15,000 people who work at Reliance Capital is 34. At 24 years of age, Anmol is part of this younger demographic and will relate to future customers, shareholders, employees, as well as other stakeholders of Reliance Capital. Anmol has brought the group, and specifically Reliance Capital, tremendous luck, as the stock price of Reliance Capital, all of you shareholders which own Reliance Capital, has risen by nearly 40% in just a few months since the induction of Anmol onto the board. I hope and I'm confident that the Anmol effect will continue based on performance, growth, teamwork, and his personal commitment, dedication, and value system. I now want to turn to some of the queries raised by shareholders, and I'll answer them in no particular order. Let me inform shareholders that the company is doing extremely well. We've already posted our first quarter results, and we look at the coming quarters and FY17 with great confidence, and I believe we will have a record performance in this financial year. As far as dividends are concerned, we will publish a transparent dividend policy in the interest of our over 10 lakh retail shareholders, and we are committed to increase our dividend payout ratio every year. Some of the questions were related to government initiatives, and let me address a few of them. One of the shareholders asked about the impact of GST. We believe that GST is a game changer and a huge multiplier for the entire Indian economy. Undoubtedly, Reliance Capital is an important aspect and an important facet of the financial services sector, and we will also be part and parcel of this journey of transforming India to one common market. Another shareholder asked about the proposed move to change financial year from the financial year to the calendar year. And this is under consideration, but I believe that it will be in line with global best practices, and hopefully the year ending will be December, so we will all operate on January-December accounting periods, and the AGMs will be held much earlier, dividend payouts will happen much earlier, and there will be no rains at that time, which would inconvenience shareholders. A shareholder, Jayesh Bhai, has mentioned in the last meeting, in this meeting, that our AGMs should be held in an auspicious period. If the accounting year changes, you don't have to worry about that, because it will be in the first quarter of a calendar year. But even in that time, we will ensure that we are always in an auspicious period in which we conduct all our annual general meetings. Let me take a few comments on a number of queries raised by shareholders on IPOs for our various companies. To step back, the first step was the conversion of Reliance Commercial Finance, which has been approved by shareholders, to a 100% subsidiary. A shareholder commented to ask why that was done, and I think that we have absolute clarity that we will comply with all the RBI norms. We are a financial services company. We will focus on financial services, and that will be the core. And we will not do anything else in Reliance Capital that does not fit into the definition of financial services. As a part of the Reserve Bank of India's regulations and rules, we are converting Reliance Capital, the holding company, the listed company in which all of you are shareholders, to a CIC, which then further commits us to investing only in financial services. As a part of our overall structure, we are going to make Reliance Commercial Finance a 100% subsidiary. A query was raised in terms of when that would be complete. We expect all the approvals, including the Bombay High Court approvals, to be in place by the end of November. So I would say that December 1, we should be having this as a 100% subsidiary. So when shareholders step back, you look at Reliance Capital as a CIC, where it is investing only in financial services, and you look at all the companies which belong to you as 100% subsidiaries or joint ventures, depending on the company. And I think that we've really made the first signal of where Reliance Capital and its businesses are going to go into the future by announcing our 100% subsidiary Reliance Home Finance to be listed separately, and to share what all you shareholders rightly own, shares in those companies for free. For every one share of Reliance Capital that you own, you would get one share of Reliance Home Finance. 51% of the company will be held by Reliance Capital, and you are already shareholders of Reliance Capital, and 49% will be held by the shareholders of Reliance Capital on the record date. I was asked when would this be listed and traded as a separate company. Based on the current schedule and approvals process, we are targeting April 2017 as the period to list Reliance Home Finance, and as and when it is listed, it will be fully capitalized and well capitalized to ensure that all our future growth targets for the home finance market will be met. I was asked a question whether Reliance Home Finance would participate in rural financing and rural home financing. Clearly, that will be an integral part of our strategy for future growth, because unless and until we see the needs of India, the needs of the 1.2 billion people, the needs of rural India, I think that no Indian company can actually succeed in any area. And I think that the focus of Reliance Home Finance, apart from serving the top 100 cities, will also to see how to go down to the 500,000 villages that exist in India and see what we can do. There is tremendous opportunity, there are multiple players, and I'm sure all of us are working towards making India a very safe place, and every Indian should have a home under his head, and that has been the ambition of Housing for All by our Prime Minister Narendra Modi, and I think that companies, groups and the Reliance Group is fully committed to realize that vision really moving forward. What about IPOs of our other companies? At the moment, it is not mandatory by the insurance regulator to list any of the general or life insurance companies. There is a discussion underway, and I think that our approach is we have to do what is right for growth, what is right for shareholders, and we believe that a mandatory listing is not desirable, an optional listing is desirable, and companies do list. And like we are listing Reliance Home Finance, it is not because somebody has told us you have to mandatorily list. We basically looked at it and saying what is good for shareholders and what is good for the future of the growth of the company. So at an appropriate stage, we have the ability to look at listing Reliance Commercial Finance, to list Reliance General Insurance, list Reliance Life Insurance, and so on and so forth. But they will all have to be specifically examined, the time, the period, the capital structure, the value creation strategy that we need for our shareholders, and we have to take really a balanced approach and ensure that whatever we do is in the interest of all our shareholders, all our stakeholders, and is a long-term sustainable strategy. It is not a flash in the pan. Because an IPO has succeeded in a particular area, we should do the same. I don't think that is what my late father Dhirubhai Ambani taught me. I thought we have to do what is right for all shareholders, and we have the largest shareholder family of over 10 million of them in the group. So I think that we have to just do what is right. I was asked the question on a bond issue that we raised, and what did we really try to achieve to that. We recently raised 2,000 crores in 5-year and 10-year maturity, and what effectively it has done, it has extended or doubled our maturities, it has lowered our interest cost, it has opened up a new market. And I link this with our resolution today on NCDs and debt and other issues, that for us at Reliance Capital, we want to ensure that the capital structure remains conservative. It will keep the return on equity, it will keep the lowest NPAs, the capital adequacy, and at all given times we can continue to enjoy the highest ratings in the country and the highest ratings that the company can get, which is AAA. So it is at one level very simplistic, but it is complex. However, I've just tried to simplify it, and I said within this framework, we will continue to grow rapidly. Reliance Capital this year is 10 years old from the time we created two Reliance groups in 2006-07. We are in 16-17. I think that the journey for us between now and 2020, because there is no use of talking about 2030, it's too far away, is going to be much faster, much more focused, much more robust, much more aggressive, I should use the word, in terms of growing our revenue market share, our customer market share, and at the same time maintain a conservative profile to the financials and ensure that we increase dividends, we look at possibilities of bonus issues in the future as requested by shareholders. But all this has to be looked at in its totality, and we can't look at any single dimension for that. I do want to mention about our deep collaboration with Nippon Life from Japan. We started our relationship in 2011. They are our valued partners. They have invested over 9,000 crores in equity, which represents to be the largest foreign direct investment from Japan in India. And I really want to take this opportunity of conveying my personal thanks to the CEO, Mr. Tsutsui, and the entire Nippon team who have stood by Reliance Capital and all of you, and continue to stand by and continue to explore other opportunities for growth. I think that from a future perspective, we expect our health insurance business, which is a small part of our business today, to grow exponentially. And this is again with the changing demographics of India and the needs of India as we really look forward. Finally, I would say that one of the key tasks for Anmol and the rest of our 15,000 young people at Reliance Capital is how do we really become a digital company? How do we really embrace technology? How do we really make our customers feel secure, safe, and convenient to deal with us? And I think that companies and individuals that do not embrace digital technology will be written off and will be history. I firmly believe that the Reliance Group, and in this case Reliance Capital, is deeply committed to participating in the future of the digital revolution, in Prime Minister Modi's Digital India initiative, and ensure that we can really work with each one of you and all our other stakeholders in trying to make a vibrant, strong digital India. Thank you so much. As required, the company has provided e-voting facilities to all the members of the company from September 24 to September 26. The voting rights of the members are in proportion to the number of shares held by them as of the cutoff date being September 20. The voting through physical ballot has also been made available to the members who attend the AGM and who have not already cast their vote by e-voting. The board of directors of the company have appointed Anil Lohia and Dayal Lohia, accountants, as a scrutinizer to the voting process. Now, Shri Mohan will guide you